The sixth race of the season is yet another inaugural event, the inaugural Salem 100 from the Salem Speedway in Indiana. After failing to pre-qualify yet again, Montana Mose has decided that his brief time in the CRL is over. The 55-year-old Brazilian pulling out of the 01 car voluntarily to focus on his TM Lights effort for 2011. Hamilton Porto will take over the 01 car at the next race in Watkins Glen. In his brief time in the CRL, Mose has become the series' oldest winner last year when he won the 15th race in 2009 at Martinsville in a very emotional victory just weeks after the death of his father. Mose we certainly wish him well, and we'll certainly miss the man who was named the most popular driver of 2009, as the fans certainly sympathized with his plight, considering it was his first year in motorsports. DNQ, how about Chris Winter not getting through the qualifying race? Craig Mummert failing to qualify again. Randy Robinson sent home early. That's a big surprise. Darrell Wallace sent home early after a good weekend last week at Carbondale. David Sprague failing to get in. So's Larry Dimmick. Another day at the office for Mike Falls, it seems like. But qualifying yielded yet another first-time Red Robin Pole Award winner as the young Englishman from Birmingham, Mr. Garth Davidson, became the sixth different pole winner of the season, all six of them first-timers. Robert Klesel starting on the outside of row one. They take the green flag, and Davidson gets off to a great jump as Klesel immediately begins dropping back like a stone. Fabrizio Dalla Stella, who started third, jumping into second. Alan Musakar, defending series champ, who qualified fifth, jumping up into third as Klesel begins to fall back through the pack. Look at Davidson stretch out his early lead as he leads a lap in the CRL Modified Division for the very first time. On this faraway shot, take a look at that blue and white number 48. That is 16-year-old Antonio Mihailov, the Bulgarian-born Houston resident, making his CRL debut today. Mihailov running for Firare Corsa. He is up to fifth after qualifying ninth. This kid had failed to qualify for every race he attempted. Not only does he qualify ninth, but he's into the top five just 3 laps in. Show you a bird's eye view of the Salem Speedway. Here comes the field. Davidson with the lead. Dalla Stella in second. Musako third. I believe that's John Wainwright in fourth. You're going to see a lot of notables at the back of the pack. Alex Neshmary, Landon Rohde, Reed Weber, C.J. Cameron, Jacob Eichholz, Tina Lee, and Jen Walker all pinned to the back of the package. Here comes the field for yet another go-around. Here's Haruka Sadazaki, the young Japanese female teenager, having her best run to date. Took this 61 car over from Azuma Kazuyama, who's now trying for a full-time career in TM Master Cup. He's actually doing a pretty good job. Sadazaki qualifying in 10th, now running in 8th behind Kurt Shelton. So somebody who needs a really good run having it right now. Let's go back to the man who started on the outside of row one. Here is Robert Klesel in the 63, up in front of Reed Weber. We're 12 laps in, and Klesel is already 21st, so the 63 car falling way back in the early going. Speaking of being way back, here's last week's winner, Jacob Eichholz, qualified 21st. He's now in 28th. The victory locked Eichholz into this race. He was on the bubble in 12th. But being in the back of the pack is certainly going to shove him out of the top 12 at the end of the day, meaning he'll have to try and qualify for Watkins Glen next week. Here's points leader John Hawks. He's running much better than the other two, although he's only in 14th after qualifying 12th. Hawks didn't have a lot of confidence coming into this race this weekend, saying that he wasn't sure how the car would handle a track like Salem with big banking and a short oval. He had no problems dominating to victory at Wilkesboro, though. Here is Mihailov on lap 20, going around the outside of Musako for third spot. The young Bulgarian into fourth. He gets a little bit of resistance from our defending series champ, but will complete the pass as they go on to the back straightaway. Lap 21. Here's Davidson running into lap traffic, having trouble trying to get around Johnny Bellows, and watch how quickly Dalla Stella and Mikhailov catch up. So if you can't get around lap traffic here at Salem, you're going to be caught up with very, very quickly. Here's Kurt Shelton in the black number 7, qualified 8th. He's going to get around Haruka Sarazaki for 7th, and then he's going to go around the outside of Brendan Rohde for 6th. This is lap 23, and for good measure, Shelton is going to put Bellows in between himself and the younger Rohde brother. Caution 1, lap 29. Here's Shane Spain in the 9 car. He loses power to the engine coming out of 2, and he will stall it. Spain running about mid-pack, well out of the points. Now, here's a funny occurrence that happened. The entire inside line slows down. Watch Musico goes powering around the outside of Davidson, Dalla Stella, and Mikhailov, and he goes into the lead. Sarazaki is going to get around to get 2nd. This is all coming to the caution. These passes do count, so Musico ends up leading a lap in the CRL Modified Division for the first time this season. So we're under caution and the pit's open, and everybody takes advantage. Here comes the field. There's Musico pitting. As everybody gets into their pit stall, Sarazaki is going to be the first one to be down and away. However, she's going to be beaten out of the pits by Musico. Davidson is going to come out 3rd. We'll show you a bird's eye view of the field leaving the pits here in just a few seconds. You see Musico getting off pit road with the lead. Sarazaki following behind him. Davidson tucking in 3rd. Here comes the field. Here's the top 12 in order. Musico, Sarazaki, Davidson, Mikhailov, Dalla Stella, Shelton, Brendan Rohde, John Wainwright, Mike Lee, Landon Rohde, Taylor Bansma, and Brandon Malloy. That's how they come out of pit road. You see Shane Spain leaving after his engine problems, but he's, of course, numerous laps down. We restart this race at the end of lap 34. Musico in the lead, but he's got 3 cars in front of him on the tail end of the lead lap. CJ Long, Tina Lee, and in between them is Robert Klesel. There's Davidson ducking down to the inside, immediately trying to get the lead back from Musico, but he gets tucked up behind who else? Johnny Bellows. So Musico manages to hang on to the lead as Sarazaki goes to the outside of the 02 car, trying to hang on to 2nd in all this chaos. This track working just like Irwindale, outside as good as the inside. Lap 41. Here's Shelton, restart at 6, goes bursting through the field, and he will take the lead away from Musico and try to lap Tina Lee without success. Lap 44. Here's Brendan Rohde trying to take 6th away from Mikhailov. Gets stuck behind Haruka Sarazaki, and Sarazaki is going to force Brendan to ride the brakes. She goes down to the inside line, but Brendan's still having trouble trying to get around the 48. Brendan, this is one of the few good runs he's had all year long, and he will not get around the 48. He won't be able to complete the pass until they get onto the backstretch as he squeezes himself in front of the light blue car. Here's Packer. I keep wanting to say Packer Carroll. It's Rush McLeod in the 71. Packer Carroll drives the 71 in TM Master Cup. This is the last time that this 71 car will be unsponsored. Rush McLeod has done a magnificent job in his rookie season in CRL, managing to keep it in the top 12. This next race in Watkins Glen, this car will be sponsored by Jack Link's Beef Jerky, having totally new paint scheme. Here is Fabrizio Dalla Stella on lap 51, getting around Davidson for 3rd spot. Tina Lee making him hit the brakes a little bit, so he'll have to fight just a little bit more, but he will get around the young Englishman coming on to the front straightaway as Davidson cannot hold the outside line. Lap 53, here's Brandon Malloy about to get a little uncomfortable here as Landon Rohde and Sarazaki go 3 wide with a 4 car coming out of 2. Malloy drops back to 9th after being passed by Landon Rohde. Same lap, here's Dalla Stella passing Musico for 2nd coming out of turn 4. Lap 57, Reed Weber, who qualified 29th, going to get around Sarazaki for 8th spot. So the Australian with one of the better cars in the field after pit stops. 29th is, of course, on the inside of the very last row. Speaking of having a great car after pit stops, here's Jen Walker, qualified 26th. This is lap 58. She's going to pass Sarazaki for 11th coming into turn 3. Then you see Salvatore Provenzano going around the outside of Malloy for 10th. And Malloy ends up being Walker's next victim. She goes to the inside of the 4-car going into turn 1, and she will complete the pass on the young rookie coming onto the backstretch. Lap 61, John Wainwright. He's running in 14th. He's about to lose the engine, a broken piston. The culprit of this failure, and he's forced to stay on the outside line. He's going to push himself down into the pits. He almost wrecks C.J. Cameron coming in as he is desperate to get off the track with that blown engine. Lap 64, the Rohde brothers, they're going to end up fighting it out for 5th spot. However, Landon is going to lose out. First, as you see the smoke billowing from Wainwright, who still hasn't reached his pit yet. First, he's going to be passed on the outside by Provenzano, who pushes Brendan away from Landon. That drops him back to 6th. I'm sorry, drops him back to 7th. Well, I don't know what position that drops him back to, but he gets passed by Walker too. A few seconds later, here's Provenzano passing young Brendan for 5th spot coming into turn number 3. But to add insult to injury, Walker's not done. Walker's not done making passes yet, because she's going to get around Brendan for 6th coming into turn number 1. So these two flying through the field like gangbusters. Let's go back to Kurt Shelton. He's in working in-lap traffic. There's C.J. Long on his outside. But you see he's got a lot more cars to poke through here. 34 laps left for the owner-driver, who's had a roller coaster ride in the CRL. These final laps cannot come fast enough. Lap 67 into 68. Here's Walker trying to pass Provenzano for 5th. He's going to put up a fight coming out of turn 4. However, Jen will wrestle the spot away from the winner of the Phoenix round coming into turn number 1. Lap 72, Walker, fastest lap of the race. Here she is passing Musico for 4th spot. So Jen just continues to pick her way through the field. And we return to our leader, Mr. Shelton. 28 laps to go. He's picked his way through the first big pack of heavy traffic. However, he has more to deal with as you see him coming up on, is that Salazaki there? Yes, it is. Boy, she's falling back. What a shame. Lap 75, here's Provenzano getting around Musico for 4th spot. So Salvatore charging up to the front as quickly as he can. Lap 78, last clip in part 1 here. Provenzano going to try and get around Walker for 3rd, going to the inside, but he leaves the outside line open. And watch Walker blast around both Scuderia Fama cars. She's going to get around Talastella for 2nd spot coming out of turn 4. And can you say crossover, because she goes to the inside to lap Tina Lee. That's it for part 1. 20 laps left, and they're all in part 2.